like to do is share with you something that I've discovered over the years that many of my patients have asked me to share with them what I do, how I've been able to heal my broken leg, which I almost lost part of my body. And I attribute what you're seeing here, which we call the Freedom Spring, an exercise system that I think has been very important in my life for healing. Not only be healing a broken leg, but healing myself from detoxification of mercury. I, being a dentist, exposed myself to a lot of mercury over the years. And as a result of that toxicity, I've had to learn to do things that I normally wouldn't have to do had I not had the mercury toxicity. Those of you who are having problems with mercury toxicity know what I'm talking about. Anyway, what I'd like to do today is I'd like to go through a routine with you, a simple routine that I go through every day when I have an opportunity to do an exercise session. It takes me about 15 to 20 minutes per day. I do a system that I refer to as a bounce yoga. As you know, yoga is a process whereby they combine movement with breath and focus in on an inner awareness, on an inner self. I feel that the bouncerciser, the system that I'm standing on now, bouncing, which we developed in a certain way. The uniqueness of the Freedom Spring that I'm bouncing on, or the mat that I'm bouncing on, which is basically a mat supported by a number of springs, a number of high density, high flexible springs, placed in a trapezoidal position that we'll talk about later on, that gives you a versatility in bounce, in resistance to that bounce, in such a way that you can do various exercises on this particular design. What I do now is just kind of do a little startup. As you've been noticing, I've just been bouncing. And the objective of this system, this bouncing system, is really not to jump up and down like you would think. Basically, it's really a bouncing system. It's been not designed to lift me off the feet and fly me up through the air. It's been designed primarily to do a rhythmic bounce, similar to a primal bounce. You know, going back to our days when we were floating in amniotic fluid, when we were in the womb, that was the first time we experienced the bounce. Well, you know, going back to this bounce kind of goes back to that early days of our days with Mom, bouncing around. So we see this connection, we see this primal connection that you begin to feel when you first step on a Freedom Spring. When you first step on a system that we call a Freedom Spring, which is really a system that gives you a secure place in which to refer to, a place that you can lean to, and a place where you can begin to incorporate what we call a yogic bounce. A bounce when you can momentarily, for a short period of time, close your eyes and visualize, which is what yoga is, a visualization of your mind and of a movement and of a breath. And by executing a movement that incorporates a bounce, I facilitate this system of our body, which also includes a system of purification or detoxification we call the lymphatic system.